Welcome to Concept Explanation for 1.8 Operations with Decimals from Course 2A of Singapore Math. Well, as you can see, this chapter has 4 sub-things to understand: addition and subtraction, multiplication, division, and real-world situations. So let's get started with addition and subtraction. So here we are going to engage with decimals. Let's take an example. 2.5 plus 7.92. I have to add this to decimal numbers. It's the same addition that you would do otherwise. I'm going to write it here. 2.5 plus 7.92. Now here I have 5. It's nothing after that. I can add 0 here. 0 plus 2 is 2. 5 plus 9 is 14, so I'll write 4 here and carry 1. Then comes my decimal point. 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 7 is 10. So this is how you would solve it. Isn't it simple? It is, right? Let's do some more examples. 2.5 minus 7.92. You remember from the previous videos that when you have plus and minus, you always do larger minus smaller. 7.92 minus 2.50 as I did before. 2 minus 0 is 2. 9 minus 5 is 4, the decimal point, and that's 5. And then you put the sign of the larger number. So the answer is going to be minus 5.42. So that's example 1 when both were positive. Example 2 when one is negative. Let's take another example where we have both numbers as negative. So let's say 2.5 and this as 7.9. So when both the numbers are negative, the rule says you add both of them. So it's going to be this answer when you add them, right? So I'm taking my answer from there, 10.42. And I'm going to put a negative sign because both are negative. So that's how you do addition and subtraction. It's quite simple. Let's go to multiplication. Now, in case of multiplication, you have two sections. One is decimal and one is percent. First, we will see the decimals. Let's say 2.5 times 1.1. We are multiplying decimals now. To do that, the simplest thing is multiply them first as if they were not decimals. So I'll do that here. 25 times 11, which is this is 0, 5, 2, then 5 and 2 here. So that's 5, 7, 2. So this is 275. Now I'm going to count how many decimal digits do I have in my question. There's 1 here and that's 1 there. So I have basically 2 decimal digits. Now here I'll start from right to left, counting number of digits. That's 1 and that's 2. I have 2 decimal digits. So as soon as I'm done with 2, I'm going to put a decimal over there. So the answer is 2.75. So treat them without decimals first. Do your calculations. Count the number of decimal digits you have in all and decide your decimal point accordingly. Let's move to the next, percentage. Example, 5% of 60. Now to solve this, we have 2 ways. So I'm going to show you both the ways. When we say 5%, we mean 5 over 100, which is, now number of zeros in the denominator is 2. So I'm going to write this as 5. I need to have a decimal here, and after decimal, I need to have 2 digits because I have 2 zeros. So that's how I solve it. And then I just multiply this. I know 6 times 5 is 30, but I have 60. So I'm going to make it 300. And now I'm going to insert my decimal digit. 2 here. So my decimal point is going to be here. So it is 3.00. So that's one way to solve this. Now I'm showing you other way to solve the same question. I would say 5 over 100, that's 5%, times 60, because that's of 60, which is basically multiplying. Now I'm going to play smart, get rid of the common things that I have here. 1 0 in the numerator, 1 0 in the denominator. I cancel them. And that means my answer is going to be now 5 times 6 is 30 over 10. Again, let me cancel this 0 and this 0. So what's my answer now? It's 3. Same as this. So these are two different ways you can use to do the percent. Whatever percentage you are asked, you write that number over 100 and convert in this and then multiply and get your answer. Or you write in this format 5% that was given times of what? You write that number here as we did 60 and do the calculations. The numbers will tell you what method you should adopt. As you do more practice, as you get into independent practice, you will see how these approaches are used based on the numbers that you have to solve. And here comes the final part of this, which is division. Let's say the example is 3.913 divided by 1.3. Both are my decimal numbers. How do we do this? We'll see if we can convert them, get rid of the decimal digits somewhere, decimal numbers, and see how this works. Now here I have 3 and here I have only 1. To make this 13, I have to multiply with 10 and it becomes 13. That's no more a decimal number. If I did that over there, I need to also do the same thing on this side. So this becomes 39.13. I'm doing my division here. 39.13 divided by 13. Now we know 13 goes 3 times in 39. So that part is done. 0. Now I have a decimal point here. I'm going to take 1 down, but this decimal tells me I have to put a decimal point over there. In 1, 13 does not go. If it does not, I have to take the next digit down, but when I'm doing that, I have to be mindful of putting 0 over here. If I don't put that 0 and I just take 3 down and go on, my answer is going to be wrong. Now 13 times 1 is 13. It ended over here. It is terminating. So my answer is 3.01. So I converted only this one. I removed the decimal this side. If I wanted, I could have done it a different way. This part here, I could multiply with 1000 to get rid of the decimal digit. Then I have to do the same thing over here. But then my numbers are getting much bigger. So I just prefer this way. The numbers will tell you how to play with them. Just listen to them and play around with them. So this is what this chapter is about. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division of the decimal numbers. And the last part here, you can see real world problem. You know what I'm going to say. We're going to do it with independent practice and not here because it's application of all this content that you're learning. It's just that you have to read carefully, underline important information, comprehend it well, and create an equation that satisfies the situation given to you. Solve it, and the answer is there. And it's done. Goodbye.